So we have two special guests. One is the HHIC and the other you'll meet in just a second. Am I interrupting an important meeting?
It's always important. Hertz.
What's up, Ken? How you doing?
Hi, Hertz.
How you doing, David?
Yeah, good man.
What do we got here? What are we working on?
Well, the official name, though, is Death Spray Custom.
Ken's pet name is Lord Death. My sunny disposition and outlook in life, so yeah.
I mean, he's a Brit, so everything's sunny all the time.
Lord Death, I like it. I like it. That's fresh.
Only Ken calls me.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My guess is you did this.
Yeah, so David, we've been working with David for about 2 years now. So he did our graphics in 2017 that we raced in the World Rallycross Championship.
The 3D.
Yeah, the 3D graphic. And because of that, we started Gymkhana 10 last year. So we evolved that livery into all the cars for Gymkhana 10.
Right.
And so that's a 2-year project. We liked working with David so much that we brought him in to do the livery for 2018 also. So now we're here to launch, do all the photos, do all the video and everything to show off all the new fun stuff I'm doing this year.
So basically what you're saying is it's time to flex.
Straight flexing.
So do you have matching everything? I'm assuming this is what the cars are going to look like, or they already look like.
Yeah, so the livery process, coming up with a graphic is always very fun. It's been great working with David, and we enjoy creating something that has a story to it, that has much more of a background, and working with guys like David really is quite enjoyable for me and Hoonigan to create something that will be unique and stand out. And it's not like we just throw shit at the car. It's not about just trying to throw something on there. It's about developing something that has a good concept and a good story behind it and doing something in a cool and different way.
Couldn't say it better than that. No, I'd say that again, but I'd swear a lot more. In terms of what I've done, what I do and what I've done with Ken and Hoonigan so far is a lot of my work is really simply done, very basic, very sort of analog. Like the cars from the 70s, 80s, the rally cars from that era, which I like and I'm sure you like. And it takes a lot of work to make it look so simple, I'll give you that. But I want to make sure that everything looks like it can be created by hand, it can be painted by hand, and not rely on computers and complicated programs to generate something. It's like that's like a throwback to the past, where it was literally sticking stickers down, hand painting sides of cars, writing the number on, writing the driver's name on the side of the glass. That's what interests me, and that's the sort of thing I'm trying to sort of keep going with Ken.
A lot of very simple ideas that you think, oh, that's so obvious, but it's just a simple, strong concept and then done very well. And that also then rolls into the story of the driving suit. We wanted a driving suit that kind of could go longer than just one season.
Let's check it out.
Okay, let me grab it. You start in very detailed, see cardio, it's vascular system. Then it's applied to the entire suit. So you see the vein network.
Yeah.
So inside all that there's actual words.
Just let them see it. Let's just see if you can see anything.
Okay, can you find the words in it?
Kill all tires.
Yeah, there's one.
All right. Oh, wow. No.
There's one in the...
He's got one.
Yeah.
Tire Slayer. All right.
Yeah, there's ain't. A-I-N-T.
Oh, okay. Ain't.
Yeah. And then there's one more on the back of my arm, or is it both arms, or just one?
We have lost the last word.
Realize this is the first time we're actually seeing this. This is exactly why we work with David, because he's able to bring these unique stories and flavors to our program, and we're stoked to have David involved.
You see in all suits, F1 guys, rally guys, these lapels. Like that?
Yeah.
That's so you can drag the driver out. Seriously.
Oh, wait, not kidding.
Yeah, no,
not kidding.
So if we're in an accident, I'm knocked out, a safety person can come in and yank us out of the car. That's actually meant as a handle.
I'm going to yank you out just for fun. I want to make sure it works.
I'm very happy that no one's ever had to do that to me. I'm glad it's there.
Let's cut to...
I'm glad it's never...
We cut to dragging him around a bit.
Yeah, we can do that, and we should cut to when you had to put your own fire out in Vegas, GRC.
Oh, yeah, GRC, leading a race. And, yeah.
Let's go see these cars.
Okay. Here we actually have two cars. We're not going to show you the first car, the actual race car, yet.
So we'll skip that.
Because what we did for this particular livery launch, we bought another Causey, a matching Causey, so that David could come over and paint the actual graphic that we're using on the livery on this car. So this is a 93 Ford Escort RS Causey.
Bone stock.
Bone stock. We bought it, was delivered, I don't know, a week and a half ago.
You can't get these here, right?
Italy. Yeah,
okay.
It came from Italy. And the idea with that car was to give it something that actually showed off the basis of what ended up on the race car.
Right.
This is basically the very first drawing I did of this car. All this is like when you're sort of sketching something out, and you're not going to draw a Ford logo or anything like that. You just sort of make the shape and do that, and that's what we precisely retained.
You guys went ahead and painted the windows and everything.
We painted the windows, we painted everything matte coat to just show the sort of sculpture, the lines of the car. And my good friend Ken Block suggested we vinyl the windows and paint them, and I was like, well, I can't do that.
Real deal only. Wow.
So like I said, it's not often that you get to take a livery and show the actual elements of the art that goes into it. See, the fun part for David, he just gets to look at it in this sort of simple graphic sense. I've got to worry about sponsors and our obligations to our different racing series with, you know, numbers and logos and all that sort of thing. And I got to find this fine balance between what we can do with the actual art that we have to then what makes functional sense for us going out racing. So it becomes sort of a push and pull sometimes, and I know David really hates us sometimes because we're having to put our stuff on top of his great art. I have to torture you at least a little bit. And then he fights.
What's art without torture?
I feel bad for David sometimes. He has to deal with us.
Do you actually feel bad?
Now you've seen the hand-painted version.
This is day one.
Yeah.
And over there is day 100.
Yeah, something like that. This car is all fully prepped to race now here in stage rally here in America. Now, we did the DT on this a while ago.
Oh, right.
When we first launched this car. We've done a bunch of testing and development on it now. Done some stuff with the suspension. Did something really quite sad, which is take the side exhaust off. So if you come back here now, there's a exhaust sticking out the actual bumper hole.
Does that make you sad?
Because to go race, you know, this car has to be street legal. Look. Here's my license plate. This is a street legal.
You drive this here?
For stage rally, we have to be able to drive from service to the stages and in between all the stages back to service. So it is a completely road legal race car.
That adds a crazy element to racing.
So I mean, we have turn signals, we got mirrors, and the reason why we were talking about the exhaust is the side exhaust didn't have a muffler, didn't have a cat in it. So now this car has, you know, a proper exhaust system, so it'll have the correct emissions coming out of it. It has the correct level of sound, all that sort of stuff. So the very nice sound that you hear, cut the footage of doing donuts here. Car had an amazing sound there. It still does sound good. It just doesn't really have that quite level of volume, and that
the violence is turned down just a little bit. Yeah.
And since then, we've done a couple gravel tests you know, gravel road test to get it ready for stage rally.
Right.
Actually shot this car in Gymkhana 10 for part of that, and we've made several modifications to make this ready to race stage rally this year. Engine work and engine management work to get it ready, because we were having some, you know, overheating issues, that sort of thing. And also, here's a simple one that you can see here. This is the modern rally seat that we use. Very safe, very expensive, but this seat didn't fit in the cage as it was as a 90s WRC car. So we had to make some adjustments, including moving this particular bar right here. So that was done at a very high level way to make sure that the seat would fit, so that Alex and I would be very safe in the proper seats, but the cage was done in such a way for it all to still be structurally safe, just as we need it to be. All
changes worth making so you can drive one of the most OG rally race cars, huh?
Yep, absolutely.
The impact back there and everything. So when a tire blows out, there's nobody there to help you. You guys got to hop out.
Do that ourselves.
And you lose time the longer you take. So
yeah, if we have to change it on the stage, we lose a minimum of about 2 minutes. So we want to do that as quick as possible to lose as little time as possible. Obviously, we get back to service, all that stuff gets changed and fixed. But if we're out there on the road in between services, we got to do everything ourselves.
It's do or die.
And by the way, see Alex's name back here on the window.
It's good to see him back in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Really enjoy working with Alex. So this is the wheel that we used on this car in Gymkhana 10. But I actually won't race on this wheel, unfortunately. I really like this wheel. So we have a wheel that they raced on in the 90s for this car. But this was the graphic that they used at one point on this car in the 90s. So we're applying that to the gravel wheel that I'll be using.
So these are your
dope, right?
These are your stunt wheels. Oh yeah, that looks fantastic. I love the colors on this car. Yeah. Why are you racing a car from 1993? I've seen a lot of your cars, and none of them are usually that old.
Not true, because I have my '78 Mark II Escort.
Okay, I stand corrected.
And my Mustang.
My favorite car of your fleet. All right, I made a mistake. You got some old Johnnies that do some work, but
I think that goes right along with that theme, that I am a big fan of just rally. Like, I've been a stage rally enthusiast since I was a kid. So that's why I have a '78 Mark II Escort. That's why I have an '86 RS 200. That those cars like mean a lot to me in the world of rally. For me as a fan, as an enthusiast. And so as I've gone through my career and enjoyed racing all these different cars, that kind of grabbing from that history and pulling that stuff in and racing it in modern ways is just a really cool thing for me. So this plays right along into that. You know, this year I'm going out, I'm racing a modern WRC Fiesta. I'm racing, you know, my Focus RX Beast, you know. Those are the ultimate modern day rally and rallycross cars. But I'm actually getting to go out and do some stage rally in this thing, like one of the cars that I loved as a kid watching race out on the stages, and now I get to take it myself and go out and race 3 events out on the gravel with it. And believe me, I know, like, racing here in the States in the championship, there's factory level cars I'm competing against, modern equipment. So I'm not taking this there to try and win. It's about the experience. I may end up 8th place. I may end up 3rd place. I don't really know, but for me, it's about living that experience.
Putting yourself in the shoes of the guys who drove this car when it was the pinnacle of...
Yeah, absolutely. Even taking it today and seeing what it does do against those modern cars.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's also cool about this experience. I think what's fun for me and fun for our team is to take on a challenge like this and say, okay, let's see how good we can do. Let's see how much fun we can have. Let's see what the trials and tribulations
for sure
will result in.
And I love that, because, I mean, in drifting, there's a lot of people who think the pro world kind of loses the fun of it. So it's like you're just keeping rally fun. You're just, that's sweet.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's about going out and trying new stuff, you know, taking on new experiences. But also this year, Hoonigan is basically one of the title sponsors and logos on the car.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing the claw coming down the side there.
So I still have Monster as one of my biggest sponsors, but they wanted to focus more and be involved more with the Gymkhana side of things. So they've been doing a Gymkhana grid and series of events over in Europe now for 4 or 5 years. They've been involved with the Gymkhana videos, so they're still involved in a big way with us. They're just focusing and expanding more on the Gymkhana side.
Right.
So you will see them all through Gymkhana 10, Gymkhana Files, and with us doing Gymkhana Grid this year. So the Monster logo is on the car for all those events and those races. But for the actual racing that I'm doing, rally and rallycross, Hoonigan is the title sponsor. So that's what. Now also another little piece of David back here that we didn't really talk about, which is, he's made us some great Ain Care logos and Kill All tires. So we have a new Ain Care logo here on the back. So we enjoy that.
He almost caused an accident.
and of course my my personalized Utah license plate.
How many?
HHIC, which is Head Hoonigan in charge.
Don't you have a couple that say HHIC? How do you?
No, that license plate just moved around.
Okay.
It was on my Raptor.
Whichever's your favorite at the time.
Well, it was on my Raptor, and then I got a new Raptor, and it's a lease from Ford, and so I couldn't have this license plate anymore there. So then we needed a place for it to go, so we put it on this car.
I was going to say, who's printing these out for you? I need a guy if you got a guy. The wing the same on the...
Yeah, exact same wing. This is, I think, in the entire world of motorsports, one of my favorite wings ever, and it's part of why I love this car so much. But it's just such a unique design and really quite functional. And strange little random fact, apparently the original design had 3 levels to this wing.
Like step.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, I think the accountants got involved and they ended up cutting back to 2 levels on the wing.
Like, hey guys, I think you'll survive with just one deck.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful design. It's a unique design.
Super unique. Yeah. So I just realized we made it all the way back here.
Yeah.
But we
I like this thing so much. I know.
Yeah, but we didn't actually.
Missed an important part.
Yeah, we didn't actually show the people what you hide.
I mean, this is Hoonigan. This is very important information that we cover.
You got to see the guts.
A little dirty. Sorry about that. Apparently,
you don't have to apologize for using your car.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this thing is freshly dirty from a gravel test that we did recently in Arizona. But yeah, 4-cylinder, turbocharged, 2-liter engine, puts out about 350 horsepower.
Is that about the same kind of power everyone in that series is going to have?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
So there's a restrictor on the turbo that will only let you put so much air through the turbo into the engine. So that's really how...
I've heard that, and I've never actually seen one until right now.
So yeah, this is the power delivery of this engine is quite different than what I'm used to with the modern cars. So it's taken me a bit in testing to kind of get used to hearing the sound and getting the shift points right. But like I said, that's part of the fun of a new car.
What is it redline at?
Max power really I think is about 6,800 RPM. It's a turbo engine, so the power and torque is really down a bit lower.
Yeah.
And you really, with a gravel rally car, you really want to flow through the corners. It's not about just wheel spin and flying through. It's about carrying the momentum and using the torque.
Keep it right in that happy place.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed in like gravel rally, just from playing video games, I have no real experience. You keep it a little gear higher so you have that wheel speed to play with when you need it and stuff like that. That's interesting. See, I'm practicing, man. I'm practicing.
Yeah, there we go. The inside is... obviously, we have a very nice Hoonigan handbrake handle that we've added. But the gearbox and even the old school gear shift there, it's a 7-speed gearbox.
7-speed.
Just kind of unusual.
1993 car with 7 gears.
Yeah, but when they originally built the gearbox, first gear I think was a bit tall, and for tarmac racing, they wanted to drop another gear in to get off the line quicker on the tarmac. They figured they could save a half second to a second just on their starts with the lower speed first gear, so that first gear was added. So it is quite unique that this car is a 7-speed.
No, that's pretty awesome. And I mean, I see you have a little fetish for carbon fiber. You got a little...
Yeah, and you know, typical 90s, there's all sorts of switches and fuses
and relays. And,
I mean...
Hey, you got a gas gauge. That's good. Yeah. I don't have one of those.
And then the center console here, that's all the controls for the electronic diff.
That's crazy these cars have electronic diffs too.
Yeah. When I get in the car to race, you have, you know, the switch for the anti-lag, because we're in a transit mode going from service and in between all the stages. But once we start a stage, we want to be in the anti-lag mode. So that's literally one of the only switches I make sure is on when we're about to start a stage. We put in anti-lag. And then we have a diff button there that is on and off for the diffs.
And that locks them?
That turns on the electronic.
Okay.
So what do you think, Hurt? What do you think? What do you think of our art project?
Your art project is pretty cool. I don't know much about these cars, and that's why I'm actually really glad you brought them here, because I like learning about these things, because I eventually hope to drive one of them. So I know you're a busy man, so I don't think we have time to see you shred this thing today, so we're just going to cut to some of that from the old one. So now that we learned all the art stuff, the art part of your livery, what are you actually going to do with this car?
Well, this year, obviously you can see right here, ARA, American Rally Association. So I'm really stoked to be doing 3 stage rallies with this car. But that's not all I'm doing, because that's only 3 events. I'll be racing not only this Kazi, I'll be racing my Ford Focus RSRX and some rally crosses. Also racing a Ford Fiesta WRC car in a couple events, including WRC Spain. And we'll also be doing a couple Gymkhana grids. The rallycross side, I actually have a partnership with Steve Arpen and his team to continue developing that car, because we didn't get it to the level of exactly where we wanted it the past couple of years in World RX. We're partnering with Steve because we really think he has some great potential to help us get the car there.
Yeah.
He's an exceptional driver, and he's actually coming in to Hoonigan as a Hoonigan driver. It's actually really quite a big year for me.
Yeah, that's stacked. That's stacked. How do you keep moving? How do you?
Yeah, it's going to be a wild year. But that's part of the dream. In about 2 weeks, we'll be racing this Oregon Trail Rally. So hope to see you fans out there.
Well, if there's ever a time where you can't drive one of your cars, but it needs to be there, just let me know. I got your back.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do all-wheel drive?
Hey, I'm happy to take on the challenge.